Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 basic ways to do a modesty panel. Let's get into this. Alright designers, let's get started. When you are making a corset, you can make it with a gap or have this part closed. But you can only do that with ready to wear, also called off the rack. What that means is you designed it and you will sell it just like that. However, if it's a custom-made client, you will have to ask them if they prefer a gap or do they want that area completely closed. If you put a gap, it shouldn't be more than 3 to 4 inches wide for a ready-to-wear corset. My design is 3 1/4 inch wide, which is 1 5/8 on each side. Now let's start making a modesty panel. Here is method 1 and is a one-piece panel. This is the main fabric and it's interfaced. Here we have the lining and the modesty panel. This is interfaced too. Also, the opening will be on the side so you don't see the stitch. This is how it looks. Here is the corset. If you would like to learn how to make the corset lacing bar, I do have a video showing you 7 ways to make it on my page. But today we are going to focus on different ways to make a basic modesty panel. So for this one, I went down 1/4 from the top of the center back. Some people like to start from the top and some people like to bring it down just a little. It's all up to you when you're designing. My design is 1/4 down from the top and 1/4 up from the bottom. Take the modesty panel and pin it a little bit over the last stitch on the corset, then stitch on that line. Once you sew it, this is how it's going to look. It's really basic, but it's clean. And this is your final look. Next is still method 1, but this time you're going to take the one panel and cut it into 2 pieces. One of them becomes a placket, also called a lacing bar. Here are the pieces, and also this is the lacing bar video. It's on my page. It will show you 7 ways to make it. There are different styles, so you have a lot of choices. But let's get back to this modesty panel. With this method, you have to use a bias tape. Mine's is 3/8. I don't use a 1/2 inch bias tape because it kind of looks too big. I'm going to start the modesty panel right underneath the bias tape. Then sew it like how you did in the previous method. This is how it's going to look when you finish sewing it. Next is method 2. As you can see, the main fabric is going to be the one panel. But for the lining, you have to take that main fabric panel and cut it into 2 pieces. One piece will be the placket. Once you do that, the next step is to put seam allowance all around like this. Here are the pieces. You have the main fabric, the modesty panel. Make sure you interface it. Try to use a heavyweight interface. This one is medium weight. It's just for demonstration. And this is the lining part. Now let me show you how to sew this. First, you're going to take the lining part and turn it to the right side. Then take the lining part of the modesty panel and put it on the lining like this. I made my modesty pattern 1/4 down from the 1/2 inch seam allowance. So please make sure that your pattern is the same way. Then from there, take the placket part and put it right side to right side of the modesty panel like this. Then from there, sew a 1/2 inch. Here is one last look on how it's going to look sandwiched. Once you sew it, it's going to look like this. Next, take the panel and put it behind the lining like this. After that, put the whole piece on top of the main fabric and sew it a 1/2 inch all around the corset. From there, trim off your corners and turn it inside out. Iron it so you can get a polished look with seams that lay flat. Next, sew a 3/8 inch stitch for your boning, then a 1/2 inch stitch for your eyelets, and another 3/8 stitch for your other boning on your lining placket. This is how it's going to look. It has interfacing inside the corset. The placket has the boning and the eyelets, and the back of the corset looks like this. This is the final look for method 2. If you are enjoying this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more free content. Also, when you do that, YouTube will push the video and show it to more people who want to learn more. Thank you for your support on the channel. We truly appreciate it. Now let's get back to the video. Next is method 2 with the 2 panel, which is the one with the lacing bar. These are your pieces. You have the main fabric and the lining. Take the main fabric and put it on the top of the lining. Then sew it 1/4 all the way around. And it looks like this. Don't forget, when you make your Modesty pattern, make sure it is 3/8 down from your center back. The 3/8 inch bias tape is going to be on the top and the bottom of your corset. Next, take the back of the Modesty panel and put it on the back of the corset. From there, take the lacing bar and put it on top like this. Then sew it a 1/2 inch. Here is the 1/2 inch. So far, this is the front of the corset and this is the back. Use the iron so that your seams can lay flat. Next, take some of the seam allowance off right here. From there, fold this side 3/8. The pattern says it's a 1/2 inch on both sides, but you have to sew this side 3/8 so it doesn't go over the placket in the back, and it has to land on the black stitch in the front. Also, it will have space for the boning and the eyelets. This is how the back is going to look. And here is the final look for method 2 with a lacing bar. Can you guess what my favorite color is? Take a wild guess. Put it in the comments and let me know what's your favorite color. Let's move on to method 3 with 1 panel. This method might surprise you. Let's get into it. Here's the corset part. Now let's talk about this piece right here. This is called a plastic canvas. I put this inside the Modesty panel sometimes. You can see that it bends. It's kind of stiff. It also prevents the Modesty panel from bunching up. Let me show you how to do this. Cut your plastic canvas from your pattern. Here is the center back, and the corset gap is 3 1/4. The eyelets will be a 1/2 inch apart from the center back. Once you cut your piece, you're going to have to cut it again. This time, take a strip off over here, on the top, and over here. For the bottom, you can take 1 or 2 strips off depending if it's enough space to sew it closed. From there, take the plastic canvas and put it inside the panel. Once you do that, you can sew the bottom piece closed. As you can see, the stitch seam is in the bottom this time. I wanted you to see the difference between the stitch hitting on the side or the stitch showing on the bottom. It's really all up to you. For this corset, I decided to start the Modesty panel right on the top of the corset center back, right here. If you're wondering, can you make a hole in the plastic canvas? The answer is yes. I used my can press tool to make the hole. Here is the final look for method 3 with 1 panel. This Modesty panel is called a floating panel. I like these better than the ones that's loose. You can also use the plastic canvas for method 3 with the lacing bar. Just remember to make sure that your pattern starts under the 3/8 inch bias tape. Alright designers, now that we covered the basics, I made a video on how to make advanced Modesty panels. You can watch that right here. Go ahead and click into that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in that next video. Don't forget to practice, practice, practice. Bye designers.